specific style, you can do just that. But it's time, Riley. It's time to get into game number 1 of the Dragon Cup here in Lobby G, and starting on board with spicyappies. And hey, what is less surprising than a tier start from spicyappies?
I mean, not much. We know him
Sun rising,
as,
maybe.
Yeah, we know him classically as a very good AP player, and he's actually been playing a decent amount of Graves coming into this tournament. I did take a peek at his World Chess, and Graves, one of those it's one of the comps that came from 7.5 because we introduced Graves, we introduced Seraphine. We haven't really touched on this yet. It's 7.5. It's a whole new set. There's so much new happening right now compared to all the tournaments we had last set. So how are players going to adapt? How are they going to adapt to the new units? How are they going to take advantage of all the new comps and everything you can do with this game now? Yeah,
exactly. Pirate's Greed is our Mirage trait, so we'll have to see who's tempted to try to go for that. We saw a good amount of Mirage over the first couple days of the tournament. And this is one of the ones where some people feel the urge to roll the dice with it. But how about this? 2 stars already for spicyappies, getting the set and the Ezreal online. That's got to feel pretty nice. Dragonmancer as well for a little bit extra set power.
His items are a little bit awkward. There's nothing you really want to slam. Like, Chalice doesn't feel great to slam, especially if he is angling more towards Seraphine, so he might just be content to live with these 2 stars. Of these augment options, I'd be going item grab bag pretty much in a heartbeat here, unless he really wants to go some direction around Bruisers or around maybe Yone reroll with the Mirage Heart, although doesn't really have items for either. Grab bag keeps him super open, especially in the context of he likes to play Graves. That comp can use so many different kinds of items, so I'm taking grab bag. That's just
100% with you. Yeah, I'm 100% on the grab bag hype train, which is also a great band name now that I think about it.
True.
Grab bag hype train.
Oh, he is taking Bruiser. Interesting. So he does have a plan then.
Okay.
This is the beautiful thing about appies. He can just take something random like this, but we know he has a plan for it. Either he has a plan or he's gonna figure it out and it's gonna work. We all remember Gnar, right? The Gnar game,
right?
From, I believe it was Innovation Cup. Truly innovation.
Yep, that's right. If I remember right, it was like a 3-star Gnar carry that I think he had like Bloodthirster on it or something like that. And those rocks did a lot of healing, a lot of damage.
Bloodthirster, blue buff. I want to either Challenger Spat and Chemtech Unity or the other way around.
Something like that, yeah. But it was
absolutely bonkers.
Nobody else is doing it. People are talking about trying that kind of thing, but he was the one that actually did it.
Appies is willing to try so much, and him going for Bruiser Heart, it's off of that start especially. He's got some kind of game plan. We'll check back with him later. For now, we are hopping on board with Rainplosion, who does have a classic Astral start. This is something that's gotten very popular this set.
I mean, it's just like a good eco start. The units are, I would say medium strength. If you're able to 2-star one, like you can see Rainplosion's been able to 2-star the Vlad. Like, that's a situation where even if you're losing rounds, you're gonna probably not lose it fully. And she's already got 10 gold, so the interest is already rolling. So just a strong, solid, econ-centric start. We can see Namzi as Cannoneer, by the way, this time around.
Yeah, and for the Astrals, I actually kind of like to think of it like Yordles, but a little bit healthier, because how much money you're getting isn't just pure random. You can't just, you get 3 costs in a row and all of a sudden your econ is completely snowballing. You're still getting like 1 to 2 gold per turn, but you do have to really commit to Astrals if you want to get like the really good drops and really get that econ rolling. And like you said, some of the units are like decent. If you 2-star them, it's not like you're full open every single game you play Astrals unless you're all 1-stars. You get some of 2-stars going, it's a decent board that can hold its own, pretty similar to Yordles back in set 6.
Yeah, for sure. And you can go a bunch of different directions from it too, obviously. You can honestly, you can kind of do whatever you want. It's kind of like it's one of those things where you can sort of wait to see what direction your items kind of point you. You can see the bow already on Nidalee there, a glove on the bench. So, still fairly open, maybe a Xayah angle. I'm sure everybody wants to be playing a Xayah right now, obviously, but there's still a bunch of different things you can think about.
the weak spot as well could be pointing towards Zaya, and I do also want to touch on Rainplosion got a 2-item start, so that's got the econ even more snowballing super early, so that on top of the Astrals, yes, she's taking a 5-unit loss here, but with how rich she is, I think she'll be okay with that for now.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, just looking across the board, oh, CHRISTOPHO on top ended up taking, oh my gosh, why is it Tiny Legends?
Tiny
Titans. I don't know why the name escaped me there. I told you it's been a minute since I cast some TFT, but yeah, getting a little bit of extra health early on. Clearly not concerned about carousel positioning, I guess, on this first one.
Yeah, Tiny Titans just, it's one of those super safe augments. It's incredibly generic. If it gets offered to you, you can take it literally no matter what. And for CHRISTOPHO, he's only lost 8 HP. He's got still a decent board to back it up, so it's not like he's losing too much carousel priority here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Kovanel grabs a tier. Gurpin with a glove. Looking around, Rainplosion was able to grab that needlessly large rod, so that with the bow could make the Rage Blade for her. So maybe, again, you mentioned the weak spot augment choice. Seems like the intent is possibly Zaya there. We'll see. Meanwhile, on board with Iniko's got the bow, and he's got the Hurricane built already.
Yeah, that could also go in a lot of directions. Hurricane is just a very good generic, strong AD item slam, especially with the Knife's Edge. And he's also got Astrals in. That we're seeing a couple different ways of playing Astrals, and Nico is playing pretty much from win streak with the Astrals, really getting the econ going, and also has a Varus that he's playing around. He managed to hit that early Varus, and so he has a very strong board to really get that economy going. We're seeing him going up against another Astrals player. I wonder what the story of this early game is in this lobby, but Gurpin is still only level 4. He's going for the super hard econ Astrals rather than trying to win streak like Iniko is.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen like at least 2, maybe 3 players with the Astral start, but you know, there's really nothing stopping you. You know, why not stay so open compositionally? You know, I'm kind of curious where. Oh, go ahead.
It's 3. I'm doubt. Hey, production. How many Astrals players do we have? We apparently have 6.
We have 6. Oh. Wow, production letting us know 6 players running Astral right now. All right, that's you know, maybe a couple more than I expected, but again, like those 1 costs are out there. You know, like I said, very medium strength units. They'll win some, they'll lose some, but mostly they'll just be getting you some extra gold if you turn. So, yeah, definitely a good economic start. Our lobby is so fiscally responsible.
Yeah, and you know what? When everyone's running Astrals, that's just going to accelerate how much gold is in the lobby overall. It's one thing to just have like, oh, 1 or 2 players with Astral and they just have a little bit more money. But when 6 players have more money, those 2 people that don't have Astrals are going to really be feeling it. They're going to really be feeling them being down that econ compared to everyone else. And also, when everyone has that much more econ, the boards are going to get crazier. These boards in tournaments with this high level of play already get pretty crazy. Once you inject all that extra money into it, I'm terrified. This is going to be a wild lobby.
Yeah, and it's the question too is like, what are players going to do with that extra economy? You know, is it going to be used for rerolling? Is it going to be used for leveling quicker? We'll see. Beaster finally grabbing his level 5. As we go into Krugs, on board with Kovanel, who again, I gotta mention it again. Over day 1 and 2 of the tournament, 50% first place rate. Pretty amazing. We do not see rates like that very often.
Even in a 12-game sample size, that is very rare, so big props to him. Yeah. We'll see how he does this game. So far, has the blue buff, has Lagoons in, has now the components of a ZZ Rot. If he wants to slam that, it's a very good item for Lagoons just to provide that extra front line.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, he's full committed to going Lagoons pretty much. Hits a Rod as well. His items are so good for this.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the ability to build a Morello's there, which is pretty core. Oh, goes for the ZZ Rot. All right. You know, I don't mind this. I mean, it's easy to pick up a belt later on the carousel. It's a lesser demand item in a lot of times, you know, into the mid game. And this is just going to give you a little bit extra time. Like the comp he has right now isn't going to be doing damage super fast. So having that extra delay with the Zizarot minion is not a bad idea. I like it.
I also like the slam right now over to Morello. Yeah, Morello might be
totally.
like, it's maybe a little bit higher priority in the late game, but it's not like Zizarot is a bad item, and it also gets way more value now. Seraphine's an okay Morello holder for now, but when she takes forever to cast, she's not going to be doing that much with it realistically. So the Zizarot, just an infinitely better item right now. The Rod can be so many other items. Building the Zizarot also kills the bow, which can't be that much besides like Zizarot, maybe Giant Slayer. So it's almost like basic for these players, but it's just good fundamentals from Kovanel knowing which items to slam right now.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, augment number 2 time. Lagoon Heart. A little bit tempting, but he goes for the Thieves' Gloves. Okay, I guess, you know, technically you don't really need the Lagoon Heart. You're not going to go higher than 6 in a lot of cases. If he's planning the Lagoon, you know, Soam Mages build, like, you know, I would imagine he probably is.
Yeah, it's like 99% from this point he plays Lagoons and Soam, but... Yeah. I totally understand him skipping over the Lagoon Heart. He can't guarantee 6 with it right now. And late game, that extra Lagoon actually doesn't do that much because you can fit everything you want, including 6 Lagoons, and all the Lagoon units you play at that point are either good splash synergies. Even this 1-cost Malphite, it's 2 Bruiser with Souless, and it's just good value for the health you give to the rest of your team. And you also get to play Nyla, who is a great secondary to clean up for Soam. So you don't really want to drop any of the Lagoon units, and especially when you don't have a spat to plop on another unit. Just taking Lagoon Heart here doesn't really give you any benefit. So taking the Band of Thieves totally makes sense. He has a Lee Sin. He can put that on and get use out of that augment. Really like how Kovanel is playing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Going up against inikoiniko. Kicking away the Vlad, but sadly this Lee Sin doesn't kick people off the board anymore. That was fun.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite 5 costs, I think.
Oh my god, what was that, set 4 Lee Sin?
I think it was set 4, yeah, where he would kick people off of the board.
Lee Sin. Yeah. Oh no.
It's great. Oh, look at this.
You say favorite, and I say I have traumatic memories of that unit. Oh, just like get your 3-star 4 or 5 cost kicked off the board instantly.
I was gonna say, sounds like assassin player problems to me.
Speaking of assassins, hey, look what we got.
Yeah. What a segue.
Yeah. Who is this? That's Souless playing the assassins. That, you know, Souless has the capability to play so much, but I have seen him play Sins enough that he's a degen at heart. You know, total respect to him for this.
Yep, and I mean, he's got the Double Trouble as well, so that's why you see him playing a couple different ones there, or a couple copies of Rengar, a couple of Felios. And that means there's a lot of Zeeks. A lot of attack speed happening on that board. And this is one of kind of like the 2 ways I've seen people kind of play the Rengar comp is you can either go the double up style like we're seeing here, if you end up hitting double up. Otherwise, you go for more of a traditional 4 assassins kind of comp. But I'm sure you could speak to that better than me. You're the assassin player on the cast right now.
This is my time to shine. It's an assassin comp. You already know how much I've been playing Rengar this set. But like you said, if you hit Double Trouble, you can play this variation where you just stack the lower cost Darkflight units, and you actually don't really want to play Swain because that just takes up 2 slots that you would rather just fit more other Darkflights in, as well as some more like supporting synergies, and then you can play Hecarim, and you just get so much value from all these Zeeks, you just wipe out the board. If Souless doesn't have Double Trouble, I've been playing more of the 6 Darkflight for assassins, so it's nice to have a couple variations of those assassins going on.
Yeah, check this out. We got some Jade happening here, and I mean, Beaster was an 8th, starting to make his way slowly back up there. He's got the Shiou with the Thieves' Gloves, so I feel like this is gonna maybe turn into something else. I don't know. Do you feel like he's gonna dedicate himself to Jade this game?
I have absolutely no idea what he's going from here. He could be playing around Jade. Normally, in set 7 when we saw Jade, we saw players actively stacking Xiaoyu with 3 items. This time it's just the Thieves Gloves, which kind of indicates to me if he sticks in Jade, which actually I imagine he will, he's not going to be playing around Xiaoyu carry. He's going to be playing more around like the Jace, around Shyvana, around some other carry using Xiaoyu as a secondary and just taking advantage of the 5 Jade.
If he survives long enough anyway. I think one of the issues, it feels like Jade sometimes you can take some damage early, but I think what happened is you see an early Xiaoyu and you've already got a little bit of Jade. You're like, all right, well I could just bump up to 5 Jade and play it for a bit, and we'll see. Meanwhile, spicyappies actually in a bit of a Jade build at the moment, at least using it to buff all of his melee characters. There's a Xiaoyu in the shop, picks it up, but the items don't really support Xiaoyu focus, so I think it's going to be kind of like what you were talking about with Beaster, where if there is a Jade angle here, it's focusing on something else. But I've got a feeling this comp is going to change completely by the end of the game.
Yeah, he considered the Xiaoyu for a second, but he'd have to drop an upgraded unit in order to play it, and without any kind of items, the Xiaoyu doesn't do all that much, so he'd rather play the Kiana for Tempest and for some backline CC and still get to play 3 Jade. And just looking at these items, I expect this to be probably like a potential fast 9, but realistically try and roll for Alshin or Relian Soul on level 8. But this is going to be a Dragon comp, true Dragon comp that Spicyappies is probably going to be focused around based off the Spear Shojin and the Archangel Slams, and the fact that he's 100 HP win streaking. That's the comp. If you saw in the week 1 recap, the capped out legendary Dragon comp had the highest win rate because it's capped out. It has all these strong units, and once you upgrade them, the chances you go first are very high. Appy's looking to be playing for that, looking to be in the spot to play it as well. Partially off the Bruiser Heart take at the start, giving him the Jax, giving him great early frontline with a Gargoyles on it. Appy's 100 HP off of some really excellent play and decisions.
Right, and he's always been one of those players that's been good at playing best board, and staying ahead like that. I wanted to mention, too, that thus far, in week 1 of Dragon Cup, players who did play the Dragon Legendary Flex board did have a 27% win rate. 27% first rate, that is, to be more specific. 62% top 4. And, I mean, it's just one of those comps where if you are ahead at this point in the game, if you can get it online, you're going to be so strong.
Yep, that sounds about right. But I do want to touch on. I'm going to cycle back to that point I made earlier about Astrals and Econ. So I don't remember if Beaster was also playing Astrals in the meantime. He also has consistency, and he got 5 loss streak of consistency value, and then 4 win streak of consistency value.
Wow.
He's on the 100 gold challenge. He just pre-leveled 8 on 4-1 with 60 gold in his pocket. If you look at his bench, this man is rich. This man is so rich.
Just going to let himself naturally go to 8 here, going into 4-2, it looks like. And then, what's the pick going to be for the augment?
Yeah,
I was going to say, do you re-roll this?
Yeah. None of those looked that appealing. Does end up going for an Earth Scribe bag. None of the others were particularly appealing as well, but he does get a Spatula, could make a Swift Shot emblem, has a Xayah to play around as well, is going to do his roll down. This is a very, very flex roll down. Takes out the Xiaoyu as well. Yeah, we're getting out Jades. We're just going to play Xayah. Why am I shocked? Okay. Why am I shocked we're playing Xayah?
I mean, you definitely shouldn't be. It's are you new here? But no.
No.
Xayah,
this makes sense. Yeah,
we're all just living in it.
Pretty much. It's been like this since set 7. You gotta have that comp that rolls over.
Yeah, let me give you some numbers here. All right. So in week 1 of Dragon Cup, 216 players piloted the 6 Ragewing Xayah Shyvana build, and the top 4 rate was 61%.
Oh my
so
God.
It is, if you can get it online, you are very consistently going top 4 in these lobbies. Now, obviously, different players, the meta for this tournament is going to be slightly tweaked, of course, just because of the people that are going to be playing in it, but that build is still going to be strong. When you ever get the Jace, the Xayah, the Shyvana eventually online, you're going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, it also depends on how many players in this lobby end up going towards Xayah. We'll have to see how contested Easter is and whether he hits. In the meantime, though, speaking of contested, this CHRISTOPHO guy is a rat contesting Souless on the Rengars.
And I feel like this is one of those comps you can't do that. Like if you contest
really
someone
not.
on this comp, you are going to be holding hands, going 7-8. I feel like, but and Christoph at least fulfilling part of the prophecy in 8th at the moment, but Souless not too far behind.
Yeah, CHRISTOPHO's on 7 loss, had to skip over a Swain pair just to try and find the second Rengar 2. His items are like a little bit sus. I'm not sure about this one. I'm gonna be honest.
Could be better, could be worse, but I think CHRISTOPHO is about to be our first player to head out in 8th unless something changes pretty drastically. Like there's always the high roll, get the Rengar 3 and the free Rengar 2, situation, but we'll see. Oh wait, he didn't have double up though, so he wouldn't get it.
Oh, he didn't even have
Rengar.
He didn't even have double trouble.
Yeah, Souless had double trouble. CHRISTOPHO didn't, so he wouldn't have that. But at least he'd have a Rengar 3. Shrug.
We'll see if he gets there. That's the thing about Dark Flights right now. Just any way you play Dark Flight really is a B tier comp, and being contested on a B tier comp is pretty much just it's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah, I mean, you know what number a B looks like.
8.
Exactly. So
I connected that in real time. That's good. I appreciate that.
If you play a B tier comp, you just got to think about that.
Hey, I beg to differ. I top 4 with this comp. I'm actually pretty sure. What percentage of my top 4s are with this comp? I want to say like 80%.
Yeah, but you're like a master of this comp, though. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you take a comp that's B tier and you really become like the master of the comp, if you really learn all the ins and outs throughout the game, you can definitely find success, for sure.
You are telling that to someone who has piloted Talon as a B tier comp to rank 4 twice.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're living proof.
Yeah, just right here on the broadcast, especially with Assassins. There you go.
Yep. I can't count how many sets like there's been B tier or B tier AP comps that I've played through to Masters or whatever the rank I got to. That was maybe less than Masters. No, it was always Masters. Either way, you can succeed.
You gotta hit Masters.
I believe.
Hey, I'm there too. It's okay. He does. CHRISTOPHO does finally hit the second copy of the Rengar 2. Does also have the Nyla 2 in the window. As long as he lives this round, he's on 6 HP. I don't know about this one. This one looks rough.
This is looking very rough. Yeah, we'll have to see who the opponent is going to be. Looks like it's either going to be Kovanel, Gurpin, or Souless. It would be... I feel like Souless wants this, because he's like, all right, I'm going to knock this person out, and then I'm going to get all the Rengars. We'll see. Goes up against Gurpin.
His Swain got Zephyred. He's dead.
Yeah, I was going to say live or die for CHRISTOPHO. Let's see if he can do it. The Xayah 2, though, doing a lot of damage already. I'm not confident. Poor CHRISTOPHO.
Yeah, rest in peace, the assassin player. F's in the chat, please.
Yep, that's that. All right, the baton comes down, the mace comes down, rather, and CHRISTOPHO, our first player to exit right before the Treasure Dragon. And now on board with Gurpin, the slayer of CHRISTOPHO.
Yeah, this is something I want to touch on as one of the changes coming into set 7.5. We still have the Treasure Dragon, but we have 2 different variations with the Order Treasure Dragon and the Chaos Treasure Dragon that just gives variance to what quality of drops that those dragons will give you. So here we get radiant items potential off the Order Treasure Dragon. Gurpin picks up the Radiant Zeke's Herald, which is great for Xayah, gives her a little bit of extra survivability, and also gives her a boatload of attack speed up front, which will get her Ginsu's Rageblade stacks going. It's just a great item that synergizes really well with the Rageblade in particular. So good find for Gurpin. He's still looking for the Shyvana to go into the 6 Ragewing version of this. He's playing the 6 guild for now around the Zippy. But the Shyvana, the 6 Rage Ring with Shyvana is really where you want to be with this comp, and he's kind of just on standby until he finds that unit.
Yeah, I like having the Zephyron as Zippy in the front line, getting rid of those front liners, letting Zippy access the back line quicker. It's going to be the Jace that gets lifted for poor Beaster. But there is a pretty strong Xayah too on the other side. Even the Radiant Giant Slayer over there is going to be absolutely tearing apart this board. Who is he going to live though? Zippy got back there. Oh, exited the fight early though. Whoops.
Welcome to Zippy targeting. Oh, we're going to be on the unit, and we're going to go away. And Beaster looks like going to get the better of that fight. Not a bad loss for Gurpin. And
could have been worse. Yeah.
Well, it could have been worse, but he's also 26 HP. Ideally, you want to be winning. Go over to Rainplosion, who I can't tell. Yeah, okay, she's trying to play Xayah as well. I was looking at that Varus, I was like, this wants to be Xayah, right? It's not just me. You have the Shyvana. Wait, she has Shyvana too.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait
already. I know.
Okay.
I was a bit shocked, but I'm sure she's not complaining about that at all. I mean, obviously Xayah is pretty good, but it does feel like you need the Shyvana version to really have that consistent top 4 right now.
Yeah, and Shyvana 2 is one of the best units in the game right now, especially with these items. This Shyvana, just watch the backline here. I just want to make sure it is going to do what I think it's going to do. Yeah, buy backline. Oh my, wow.
Is that Void Vel'Koz?
Yeah, something like that. Just, oh, who cares? I only have a Xayah 1. Who cares? Just look at the 6 Rage Wing Shyvana. It does so much damage.
Yep, exactly. So Rainplosion, despite being at 15 HP right now, looking like a possible top 4 threat if she can keep from losing a couple more rounds. We will see.
I absolutely think she has potential to even go top 2 just off that, hitting that Shyvana 2. Other Xayah players will die, and they'll put the Xayahs back in the pool. She'll find them. But let's take just taking some stock at the lobby. We do have the 3 Xayah players. We see inikoiniko, who has decided to play into the AD Zyra with stacking Whispers. Whispers was a tree that was around last set. It got some minor tweaks, but this Zyra tech is something that has just popped up this set, and the idea basically is you get the Rage Blade on just to get as many Whisper stacks as possible, because every single auto, she is stacking 6 AD and 6 AP. So you just want to get those stacks as fast as you can, and by the end of the fight, she's just blowing up backlines with her autos and with her ultimate. So inikoiniko playing a pretty new build right now, and takes this fight off Appies with it. It's a pretty solid top 4 comp, and I think inikoiniko's definitely a position to top 4 with it this game.
Interesting. We're going to jump over to Spicy Appies view for a little bit. I want to point out Rainplosion actually picked Tiny Titans for her second augment, and if she hadn't, she would be dead right now, because that extra HP certainly came in handy, it looked like.
Yep. Sometimes that Tiny Titans really does come in clutch for you.
Yeah. Well, final items being picked up off of what will probably be the last carousel for a lot of these players. As we go into the latter half of the game, on board with Spicy Appies, still hanging with that set as his Dragonmancer. Where are we going to go from here?
Getting the roll down in. He
there
finds an Aurelion Soul, which I imagine is just he's going to want to play around the Ao Shin. That is the AP carry that players are tending more towards. But he needs to get on the board somehow. He does get onto the board and
that was close.
So a good transition for Appies. There was no world he was ever going to hit his full board immediately, but recognized he doesn't want to downgrade too much in terms of how many 2 stars he has on his board. Still is playing a good number of them, but playing around this upgraded Idas and playing around a new stronger carry. Good transition for Appies. Really
nice Zephyr on the Sohm from Kovanel on the other side too. That slowed down the incoming damage, gave him a little bit of time. Don't know if it's going to be enough to win the fight. If the Sohm gets off one more cast, no, didn't quite do it. Yeah, he's actually going to be able to take it. Looks that way. And pretty crucial for his Spicy Appies, because as we saw kind of before the transition happened, he was starting to struggle a little bit. He knew he needed to get that late game composition started, but check this out from Souless. Rel 3, Aphelios 3 has been re-rolling, taking advantage of the double trouble, and so far, it's not put him completely out of danger. Props to trying it, but we'll see if he can stay alive now.
Yeah, I don't know if this was always his plan or if he was trying to play Rengar and then got contested and decided he had to pivot. But this Cannoneer version especially took so many hits because Cannoneer itself took a lot of hits. So we'll see if it can hold up to this Shyvana 2, who's spitting fire all over a team, is killing units, and the Zaya's alive. That's it for Souless. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, and I mean, contested by CHRISTOPHO, and they certainly did hold hands in the end, down to 7 and 8. You have to imagine that Souless would have had that Rengar 3, would have had the extra Rengar 2 with the double trouble, if not for being contested.
This is
Wait.
Kovanel's
out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Huh.
He took such a big hit. He was at, what, like 17 HP? And then it was just all gone. So now I believe our only Soam player is dead as well. So we've got the 2 Darklight players holding hands, a Soam player dead as well, and now we're left with the 3 Xayah players. Looks like they're all about to top 4. Wow, I'm shocked. We got the Legendary's AP Flex for Appies, and we got this Whisper Zyra for Nico.
Yeah, Whispers was pretty popular last week. Let's see, I'm just checking the stats on that. The Zyra Pantheon version of it, 55% top 4, right? So fairly consistent comp across 94 games played with it. So yeah, I suppose not super surprising. You don't need to really 3-star anything to really pop off with it. Back on board with spicyappies, he has been able to 2-star his carry now, so he'll be doing a lot of damage. But I'm kind of looking at Rainplosion, 2-star Hecarim there on the win streak. She is, like you said earlier, she might be able to contest for top 2, top 3, maybe even top 1, depending on how this late game goes.
Yeah, I actually really like how Appies is playing this level 9. He's not tunneling on just stacking dragons and getting to 4 dragon. He's recognizing truly what his strongest board is and not just playing dragons for the sake of it. He's also recognizing what dragons he has to play around. He was playing the Shio Yu for a bit to get some extra mystics in. At this point, the extra mystics, like, they do work against the Shyvana, but like playing a random Shio Yu isn't going to do much. So Appies is making really good choices around his board, still playing around this Aurelion Soul 2 because that's what he hit, and that Aurelion Soul, it's doing some big damage. Takes down the Shyvana.
Woo! That was super close.
Iniko goes down. You know what this means?
Oh no!
You know what this means?
My fantasy team didn't get any points from Iniko this round?
Well, that, yes. Also, 3 Xayah players top forward.
Wow.
I wish I could say I was shocked. I am not.
I mean, that's kind of been the trend. Obviously, she's very strong right now in the meta. So we're probably going to see a lot of that. But I think the question is what can people bring to sort of, like, make up those other spots, right? Zyra instead of Xayah?
You know, it also doesn't help that Xayah and Zyra sounds so similar. I'm down for a lobby that is 4 Xayahs, 4 Zyras.
Sounds like
great to cast.
Voice. Yeah. Well, easy round win this time around for Rainplosion.
This is showing just how much work the Shyvana 2 has done for Rainplosion, as kept her coming back into this game off of not even hitting a Xayah 1 until mid-stage 5. Had to play around Varus until then. Soon as she hits the Xayah, oh yeah, she's online. She's winning fights. The Shyvana 2 is just doing so much work.
Yeah.
It's a top 3 for her. There's a world she goes first. If she hits Xayah 2, finally, she could probably go first. As is, if she wins the game with Xayah 1, I am rioting.
I think the scary thing is spicyappies, right? And it looks like that's the matchup we're going to get. Yeah, Rainplosion versus spicyappies. Now, this was one that spicyappies won last time, and there is the Zephyr on the Xayah. It is only a Xayah 1, but it still represents a significant amount of damage. Waiting for that Shyvana to do damage. It looks like the Ashen's taking quite a bit. Or Aurelion Soul, my bad. Ida's standing strong. Aurelion Sol going toe-to-toe with Shyvana on the other side. That's a lot of damage. Ooh, Ace Sol down, and this may be a round win for Rainplosion now.
Yeah, it's great. That was a great Zephyr from Rainplosion, getting it onto the Idis, removing that key frontliner. It allowed the Hecarim to go into the backline and stall out that Aurelion Sol. It also it gave some room for the Shyvana to leak down into that backline, stalled out the Aurelion Sol again. Just overall, crucial Zephyr for Rainplosion there, easily a fight changer.
Absolutely. That's something that spicyappies is going to be watching out for this next time around. Looks like Zerat Portal picked up for spicyappies, so just another little bit of front line, maybe a way to kind of distract that Shyvana. A little bit more, possibly. We'll see what happens. And we haven't even talked about Beaster. Beaster actually just hitting the Bard, too. In first place HP-wise, but can he finish it out in a first place?
Oh yeah, Beaster has been hard showing this whole time off of how much gold he had. We saw him at 4-2. We saw how much gold he had, that he was able to preserve so much HP after full win streaking stage 2, and I don't know if he's gonna win the lobby, but he is hard showing for this top 3. We'll see if Xayah 1 or Xayah 2 wins, but more realistically, we'll see if Shyvana 1 or Shyvana 2 wins here.
I was going to say, it's all about the dragons this time around. That Shyvana, though, taking a lot of damage for Rainplosion. Very, very low. Comes down, tries to deal it again. Meanwhile, the Xayah 2 putting in some work here. Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, Rainplosion did hit Xayah 2. That's my bad. But the Shyvana 1 actually won. It got stalled out for so long that Beaster, with the double kill, was off of that consistency pick, able to take game 1.
Yeah, so